Welcome and thank you for joining Children's Specialized Hospitals Family Advisory Council Committee's very first episode titled Confessions of a Caregiver. My name is Linda Waddell, and today I am joined with our Family Advisory Council members, Suzanne and Catrice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today's topic will be tips for caregivers, strategies to overcome challenges. Our panel will draw on their own experiences as caregivers to share tips that have helped them being caregivers and what they have learned raising a child with special needs that hopefully will help you along your journey as well. So let's get started. Welcome, Suzanne. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, and your tip or strategy that has helped you along the way raising your child with special needs.
Hi, I'm Suzanne. I have 5 children. 9 years ago, I gave birth to twin boys, and one of the twins we discovered after he was born had a congenital heart defect, which led us down the road of Children's Specialized Hospital. He had many surgeries and he spent a month here. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was just this one crazy day. And in the grand scheme of all things, it wasn't the craziest day. It wasn't the worst day. We've had some pretty rough days. But this particular day, it was just a very relatable day because, you know, the days where it's like one thing after another and you just kind of feel like it's just, you solve one problem, then there's another. And so that was my day. And I went to work and things were crazy at work, and went to home, came back home, and things were just nonstop at home. Anyway, at the end of the day, it was just like the kids are asleep. Now I have some time and I can unwind, and I think I'm just going to relax and watch TV because that's one of the things that I like to do to unwind. So I sit down and watch TV, and all of a sudden now my cat is wanting my attention, and I just thought she just wasn't letting me relax. So I thought, okay, you know what, I think I'm just going to go to bed at this point. And so at that point, I went upstairs and tried to go to sleep, and then my husband wanted to have a conversation, so we talked, and then after that I was like, I can't sleep. My mind was racing, and I just wanted to relax and fall asleep at the end of this crazy day. And so I thought, well, let me take a nice warm bath. And so that was one of the things that I did to relax. And one of the things that I do is take a bath. I think it's very soothing, and I think water is healing because it rejuvenates us, it relaxes us, it has many wonderful powers, and it's just simple magic of water. And so I did that, and after that I played some relaxing sleep music, and then I said some prayers, and that's one of the things that I use for my own healing, and I use my faith and I pray, and that's one of the things that is calming for me when life seems overwhelming, and at any time really. And that was it. That was the end of my crazy day, and just focusing on the every day is a new beginning, that phrase, and tomorrow will always be better. So that was my experience.
Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing those wonderful strategies that you have learned to help calm yourself after a busy day of challenges, and when you feel a little depleted, knowing that the bath will help you, the soothing water, your prayer helps you heal and focus. And then I just love that saying, every day is a new beginning. So we just, you know, that gets you through the night and calmed you. And even though the next morning was probably hectic and chaotic all over again, you identify ways in which you could calm yourself and do for yourself without feeling guilty, I hope, right?
Yes.
Because that's the one thing, as a caregiver, we are never putting ourselves first. And sometimes you need to put yourself first in order to care for others. So thank you for sharing that wonderful tip. Catrice, please share a little bit about yourself and your strategies and tips on how you manage overcoming challenging times raising your child with special needs.
Hi, my name is Catrice Feynman, and I have a daughter in 2014, she was hit by a vehicle while riding her bike. She has a traumatic brain injury. That traumatic brain injury resulted in the family learning all about her disability. Because she was not born with a disability, we had to make some adjustments in our family and learn how to I had to learn how to be her primary caregiver. I was working full time, but had to become her primary caregiver. So that brought on a lot of stress. And I had to learn how to deal with that stress. Some of that stress was because I felt guilty about taking care of my own needs, but I learned to do that in order to become a better caregiver. So I take the analogy that they use when you are on an airplane to when the oxygen mask drop is to put it on yourself first in order to be able to help someone else. So that's what I've done. I put my mask on, and then I'm able to help my family. In ways that I've done that to be a better caregiver is to, at times in the beginning, I had counseling, and that helped a lot. And as well as sometimes I just wanted to, I wanted to, and I did, go into a room and cry. Or on my walk, I would cry and listen to my music. And that soothed me a lot. And, I did other things as well as, read a book, just, go out with friends and laugh and have dinner and just worry about me. And I had to get used to doing that because I felt guilty that I was actually having a good time. But again, on that journey and being a caregiver, I learned that when I did those things, I was a better caregiver. So I say to those who are out there that are caregivers, do those things. Take care of yourself first. Remember the analogy. The mask drop, put yours on first. And the most important thing is to take care of yourself first. And you will be a better caregiver for not just your child in need, but for yourself. So those are some of the things that I've done.
Thank you so much for sharing that and being so candid, knowing that life changed and you had to adapt to the new way of life, but recognizing your own feelings, allowing yourself to cry, allowing yourself to yell, allowing yourself to go through that emotional journey, and recognizing that you needed to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. And the one thing that struck me is laughing. You have to learn how to laugh again, even in the midst of what might seem like chaos. But I've always believed that all the treatments our kids go to, all the doctor's appointments, the hospital stays, laughter is the best medicine. So thank you for that reminder, Patrice. Wonderful tips that you're sharing with our audience today. And we hope that this resonates with our audience and they take a little piece of it away or find those things that they can do for themselves to refill themselves so they can be better caregivers as well. And again, thank you to our two Family Advisory Council members here sharing their own real life experiences, raising their children with special needs and the challenges they experience and how they got through those challenges for the next day, even if it was just remembering that every day is a new beginning in a positive thought through your mind. So until next time, thank you for viewing our Confessions of a Caregiver, and please always remember you're never alone on the journey.